What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this is Season 5, Episode 10, Power Finale Recap. I want to thank everybody that support my work at patreon.com/ Jaymoorereviews. Without your support, I wouldn't be able to continue. And also, I want to thank everybody that support my work at paypal.com/ Jaymoorereviews. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you enjoy the video, click that like button. Now, let's get into it. First thing we see is the return of Booger Sugar. Tommy is getting blowed out of his mind right now, higher than 1,000. Getting on that Booger Sugar surprise, and right now he's using that to deal with the death of his pops. And so he's at the same time we see Tasha, and she's finally packing up Raina's room. She's going down memory lane. Seem like she kind of getting over it. And then we see Angie, and she's still inside getting questioned. And we see Old Earth, Big Mac, and Sax, and they're saying that they're gonna put her in jail unless she flip on Ghost. And then we see Angie has her lawyer present, Big Red, and so his office hours is open 9 to 5. He's ready to help her out. He say, you all don't have no evidence. And Old Earth, she say, I'm not giving full immunity. And so Angie is like, I need 24 hours. I need to talk to my family. And so when they leave out the courtroom, we see J-Lo sitting there drooling and talking about, did she flip? Did she cop? What did she say? And we see Milk Dud surprised talking about she ain't say a damn thing. Meanwhile, we see Angie talking to Big Red, and he's stressing so hard he got a vein about to pop out of his head that if she should go ahead and take the deal if what they say is true, because she law enforcement. The whole time Angie's quiet and she's on her phone putting in the 24-hour timer. And so she's sitting there and she's thinking, because she know the walls is closing in. Meanwhile, we see Tasha coming into her hotel, into the telly, and we see Waterhead Terry in the lobby, and he pop up. Tasha, what's up? She like, boy, what's up? You better get up out of here. He like, I had to leave. They was coming up on me. I'm sorry. She like, yeah, well, you let me down, Terry. You was supposed to be there for me, Terry, and you wasn't there. So, you need to leave. He like, Tasha, I love you. I'm sorry. And, he start crying the blues like Johnny Gill. And Tasha pretty much wasn't having it. She kicked him to the curb, told him, leave me alone. And he was standing there looking stupid. And so, meanwhile, Tasha get a little text from Angie talking about need to meet up. Meanwhile, we see Tommy. He looking through the peephole. He get a knock at the door. It's Keisha, and he trying to block her off. Didn't want to let her in. She bust through because she thinking he probably was cheating. Type bust through. Then she see he cheating with Booger Sugar, and she ain't know he get down like that. And he like, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And then he like, you need to get out. And then he snapped on her. She got salty. She left. Tommy know he messed up, but at the same time, he getting a text from Tasha talking about need to meet up. Ghost on his way. So we see Ghost pull up down below, and Tommy, he still broke up. He's still tweaking off that Booger Sugar, and we see Ghost. He like, Tommy, what's going on, man? You ain't said nothing, man. You ain't what I gotta guess. I gotta get it out of you. And Tommy like, man, you was right about what you said. And Ghost like, what? He like, man, about Teresi. He was a rat. And he like, oh, what? He like, yeah, but I took care of it. Don't worry about it. And Ghost like, well, man, at least you took care of it, man. What do you mean? And he like, I thought you learned with Holly, but now you know. He like, don't mention Holly. And so Ghost looking at Tommy. Tommy all broke up, but Ghost didn't mention that he knew what was going on at all. And so we see Angie, and she's sitting at this school door, and so she talking to Tasha. Tasha said Terry popped back in town, and she said, but I kicked him to the curb. And she like, Tasha, you need to keep Terry close because you don't know, we may need him. And so Tasha like, I get it. Keep banging him until you say so. And Tasha know, because that's what she told Ghost to do to her. Meanwhile, when they walk into the room, we see Angie And first thing Tommy do is reach for the strap because he thinking, I don't know, that she was gonna bust him or something. And Tasha like, calm down, Tommy, you still tweaking. And so he like, what's she doing here? And he like, well, actually, she called us here for the meeting. That's when Ghost was like, Angie, I've been trying to call you all night. She said, that's because I was inside the questioning room on the other side of the table, and so that's why we here. They said, Angie, you got arrested? They like, what? We need to check her for wires. And Ghost was about to do it, and everybody was like, no, not you. And so Tasha ended up going to do it. Tommy like, does this make you feel any kind of way, weird anyway or something? And Angie said, you think I'm still a snitch? If I was going to snitch, I wouldn't be here. Now, right now, we have a problem. It's going to be a RICO investigation against all of us. And so they're putting together this evidence, and she started putting up the evidence, and she started putting up the Lobos, and she putting up everything. And right then, Tommy like, I didn't have nothing to do with that. And she like, we all know you did, but it's about what they can prove. Anyway, they're trying to put together evidence. What we need to do is we need to stay together. And so she started at the same time. They show Sax, Ball Sax, Sax Fifth talking about the exact same thing and putting together how they all working together as one criminal crime family. Milk Dud like, man, what? And so he's explaining how basically everything ties together through Angie. And so Angie is like, okay, so what we need to do is we need to get a witness. And we see Tommy writing a note. And then we see old Earth talking about, we need to get a witness. And so right when she was saying we need to get a witness, Angie was saying that too. And then when she was talking, we see Tommy pass the note to Tasha. And the note that he was passing said we should kill her. And so Tasha read the note, and she had to calm Tommy down, like, man, not right now, not here. And so meanwhile, Angie is saying that we need to stick together. Everybody get a person. You get Keisha, you get such and such, and work on them. And right then, Sax is talking about how they need to get somebody and scare everybody and work on them. And then they hear somebody saying he gonna get Tasha to flip. And then we see his waterhead Terry. We should have known by following the drip that he was over there snitching. Meanwhile, we see Ghost meeting up with Angie in the stairwell when she leaving. She like, what are you doing? We can't be together. We need to leave. He like, well, Angie, I'm just trying to make sure we all good. Then she like, yeah, I mean, what do you think? If I was going to snitch, I would have left, and we would have never seen each other again. I would have been gone, and it would never been over, okay? And she like, okay, Angie. And she like, I gotta go. We'll talk later. Meanwhile, we see Dre, and he finally getting a little ooh-wee, little coochie and stuff, and he having a good old time. Old girl riding the baloney pony. He started making promises about how he gonna bring her with him when he leave out of town, and she like, oh, for real? But they didn't notice there was somebody sneaking through the door. It's these two Jimenez hitmen. You check one room, see it's a baby sleeping, and good thing Dre, he had switched up. He got a short stroke. Good thing it didn't take him long to bust, because right before he was about to bust, he didn't get bust. Right before he popped and got popped, he was over to switch up and beat dude down and knock the gun out of his hand. And then Dre, he was able to smack him with his bat. And then they was like Greco-Roman wrestling naked, and he shot dude in the head. And then he took this other dude out while he was up against the bed. Old girl helped out by a little bit. She was gangster with it. And then Dre, he finds out that they had the La Araña card inside of him. So he knows it's the Jimenez. He know Alicia knows. He smells trouble. And so he was able to get up out of there. He tweaked out. Meanwhile, we see Tasha, and she's going to meet up with Keisha, and Keisha visibly crying and shaking up, and she like, Keisha, I need to talk to you about the feds. I need to make sure that everything cool, that you don't say nothing. She like, what? you asking me to make sure I don't say nothing again when you ain't thanked me for the last time? What's up with you? She like, well, I mean, I'm just saying, Keisha, I'm just trying to make sure everything all good. She like, Tasha, like, when have I ever lied for you or your family? When have I ever not been loyal? Besides, what am I loyal to? Some of your old purses? Tasha like, well, I'm just saying, I ain't been the same since Raina. And so she gave her a hug. And right then, Tasha like, but you ain't gonna tell, right? Tasha ain't even smooth with it. And right then, that just pissed Keisha off. She like, what? You know what? You tripping? You just this? You asking me to do all of this, and you ain't even thankful, and you ain't even asked why I'm crying. Tasha say, remember your name on the paperwork if you do talk. And Keisha said, talk, man. This is blackmail. This ain't friendship. Get out. And so she gave Tasha out and hit her with a Lord Splitter with the back door. And so Tasha salty. She calls Tommy, texts him talking about you need to get your girl in line. And Tasha messed that up. Meanwhile, we see Dre. He meeting up with Angie, and she's talking about he want the witness protection right now. And she like, okay, but what I need you to do is I need you to say that Mike Sandoval and Lobos was part of Alicia Jimenez. He like, what? That ain't had nothing to do with that. She like, you need to do it or the deal's off. He like, all right, I'll do it. She like, okay, well, what I need to do, you just wait and I'll get back in touch with you, okay? And then Dre like, all right, cool. And so he all right. He finally able to breathe a little through his nose. Meanwhile, we see Tasha, and she meeting up with Terry, and Terry comes on in to visit, and so she's bringing him in just like Angie said. And he like, I thought you didn't want to see me no more. She like, well, you let me down, Terry, and you broke my heart. Why didn't you tell me about what happened? What is this all about? How did you know about what's going on? He like, well, not only am I know about it, I volunteered to talk to him. She said, did you want to snitch? He said, that's my only way to get credibility to bring you in. I know you can get away from everything and you can get immunity. And so Tasha sitting there thinking about it. And Terry like, we can have a life together. Waterworld. And so Tasha started looking into his eyes. She's starting to believe a little bit of what he's saying. And next thing you know, we see Keisha, and she walking down the street. And we see Ball Sacks Fifth pull up. And he's like, Lakeisha, how's you and Tommy? How's you and Tasha? She like, I don't mess with none of them. And so he like, well, did you know James St. Patrick had Tommy's dad dead, and you should get Tommy to flip. And she got in the cab and dipped. And Sax, he's salty right now looking. Meanwhile, we see Angie, and she's speaking with her sister, and she like, John Mott come to the office and to the hair salon, and he wants you to talk. And she like, I'm sorry if he did that. And she like, don't be sorry, sister. You need to go ahead and tell him what you want. You can't do this for ghosts. You can't blow up your life again. She said it in Spanish. And so Angie like, I got this under control. You need to just trust me, okay? And so she like, okay, but you better be careful. Think of Junior. And so meanwhile, we see the groundbreaking for the Queen's Child Project. And then we see Ghost meeting up with Councilman Taint, and he's saying, hey, what's up? Why you not announcing your gubernatorial candidacy? And he like, well, it's been rumors and rumblings about you and Tommy Egan, and if the feds come at me, I'm gonna have to cooperate. You need to tell them what you know. And Ghost like, man, you think I'm about to snitch on my last day one? You from this hood. Well, you know better. And so Taint like, he like, I got it all under control. Announce it. And so Taint like, okay, all right, cool. And so Taint goes up there, and he announces about the Queen's Child Project, and then he say he gonna be the first black governor. And so everybody start clapping. And then he say, here's my partner in the Queen's Child Project, James St. Patrick. Ghost come on up, and he start talking and saying about how him and his wife They don't want anybody to experience losing a child like they did. And he was saying, my wife is here, and Tasha like giving side eye like she don't want to be there, but she come up. And so he's saying that this is for my children. No child should do that. But Maria is in the crowd and she pissed. And so he's steadily talking and rapping about how him and his wife want all these kids to succeed. But Maria got tears in her eyes, salty, and she won't let it go. Meanwhile, Ghost is talking to Tasha when it's over and talking about why you ain't tell me Silver was back. She like, I didn't know till right now. He said, Tasha, I can't trust you. And he said, you need to leave Silver alone. What, you thought you just gonna run off and be with Silver? And she like, what? I'm gonna run off and be with Silver. He said, you can't because he with the feds. And Tasha got salty and stuck right there because she didn't know Ghost knew he was working with the feds. So he told her to stay away from Silver. Meanwhile, we see Keisha back at Tommy's, and she like, oh, you cleaned up, what's going on? He like, hey, I'm sorry, come on, sit down. And so they sit down, and she's like, so what's going on? He like, hey, I used to not be that guy that mess with my own product, but the Book of Sugar, it just be calling me, but I'm sorry, I'm changed right now. And Keisha said, is it because your dad died? And he said, who told you that? Is somebody talking to you? She said, no, this lawyer came and talked to me. He like, oh, he wants you to snitch. He said, no, he want me to get you to snitch on Ghost and Tasha. And he like, what? She like, yeah, did you know that Ghost had something to do with your dad getting killed? And then Tommy said, no, that's a lie. And she said, no, well, he said they'll say anything to get you to snitch. She said, well, I don't know. They talking about all this stuff for Ghost and Tasha, and if you don't snitch, they gonna come after me. And meanwhile, Tommy started reaching for the gun under the couch, and he like, you know what, Keisha, if you should snitch, you should protect your kid, protect your business, and you should go ahead and snitch. I'd understand if that's what you want to do. Protect yourself. And so Keisha started thinking about it. And he like, but if you ain't going to and you all in, then that's one thing. And so Keisha said, I'm all in. He said, well, don't worry, I'm going to protect you. And then Tommy puts his gun back. Keisha has no idea how close she was to death. And she's sitting there kissing this man. Meanwhile, we see Dre, and he's asking 2-Bit, a.k.a. Jerkle, where's the bulletproof vest? And he brought the vest. He like, what's going on? Why you need the vest? He said, man, these people tried to put a hit out on me. And he like, who? He like, I don't know. But this Ghost, he's sleeping with this prosecutor. She want me to snitch. But when I get in there, I'm going to tell him the truth. That Ghost and Tommy did all that shit. And he like, wait a minute, you gonna snitch? You gonna snitch on them? And then Dre like, man, I got a daughter. You know what I'm saying? You smell me, bro? And so he like, man, well, look, if you trying to dip, go on and holler at Brock. Hit him up. And then Dre like, man, he was my first call. I hit him up, but I ain't getting no answer. And so 2-Bit looking at him like, man, this brother lying. Yeah, he ain't full of it. And so he like, so what's up, man? You gonna hit me up with the rest of that loot or what? And he like, man, look, man, we got you, man. We got you. If you hit up running to Brock, tell him to hit me up. Meanwhile, we see Tasha, and she's meeting up with Terry inside the parking lot. And so Terry is walking up with her, and so she's like, Terry, how come you didn't tell me about this indictment and everything? You talking about you trust me and you want to be with me, but you can't tell me. He like, well, I'm just saying, Tasha, I'm just trying to help you out. And she like, well, how can we be together if you're not here? And he like, well, you need to tell him that you didn't talk to Tasha, to Angie about that. Burn Proctor or somebody. Come on, Terry. Then she started rubbing on that water head. Then he started getting it wet. And next thing you know, they start making out on the car. And lo and behold, we see Ghost creeping in the corners, watching the whole thing, getting furious. He done tracked them down. See, he must have followed the drip. See Tasha and Terry getting it on. Meanwhile, we see 2-Bit, and he's sitting outside by Tommy's car. And Tommy pull out the gun because he didn't know what he was on. He like, man, I ain't on nothing. And so he like, look, If I was on something, I would have tried something already. He like, what you doing here then? He said, man, Kanan told me if anything happened to him to come eat with you. So they get in the car and they start talking, and he spilled the beans about how Ghost and Dre had a deal to kill Jason, and how he was gonna kill Diego. And so he like, well, what is all this going on? And then he started telling them what's going on. He say, look, you got people, I got people and no drugs. You got drugs, no people. I figured we can make something happen. So Tommy, he get all the info he need, and so he tell him get out. He called on the phone telling him, look, I'm just trying to tell you what's going on. I'm about to go kill Dre. She like, no, I got a better idea. So he like, what? So we see Dre walking to meet up with Angie. Ain't nobody there. He hitting her up on the phone. Nobody. Before he can get a chance, he see a dude head pop up looking like a busted condom. And so next thing you know, Dre smells trouble. He knows it's on. So he starts shooting. He start even kill a couple dudes, pop dude in the chest. And then it's these couple dudes shooting at him real heavy. And so Dre tries to bust through this door, but he couldn't get through. So he gets shot in the leg. And we see it was Tommy. But Tommy didn't take the killer shot. He let Dre bust out through the window and escape. And so Dre, once he got out the window, he see this van pull up out of nowhere, and it's Agent Tapia. Man, he tell him to get in the van, but if he want to live. And so Dre hops in the van real quick, and he got the little paperwork for him to sign and tell him he needs to admit to the Lobos and the Sandoval included and everything in the previous deal. And so Two-Bit and everybody like, Tommy, why you ain't take that shot? And so Tommy starts shooting at the van, and then we see him say, hey, we could let you out. And so Dre starts signing real quick. He was like, no, hell no. And so he texts Angie saying that he signed it, and Angie texts Tommy saying that he signed it. And so everybody got it, and Tommy said, hey, y'all trying to eat? Let's go ahead and get this, let's eat. And so meanwhile, we see in the judge's chambers, MC Light playing as Terry Silver's lawyer, and we see the judge looking over the paperwork that she's saying that she wants Terry released because the information that they have is already redundant because they got Alicia Jimenez to the crimes. And they like, what is Big Red doing here? And he said, hey man, look man, my office hours is from 9 to 5. I'll be where I damn well please. And so we see MC Light, and she's saying my client need to be released of all this. And the judge like, speaking of your client, where is he? She said he should have been here 30 minutes ago. So we see Big Mac, and he's in his office cleaning out his office, and we see Ball Sacks come up like, man, Mock, what's up? What you doing? You leaving? He said, man, Angie, that promotion, she never pulled it. It went through. I got the job in DC. I'm out. And he said, man, you can't be quitting. We almost got him. Come on, man. We just need to make a few things happen. We still got the Teresi stuff and the tape. He said, man, Teresi's dead, man. We don't have no leads right now. And he said, man, we got the tape. We just need to get out there and make something happen. Come on, we just got to be creative. What do you say? And he said, man, look, I'm out of here. That we can't use that tape. It's inadmissible in court. Take it easy. And then he mad. He pissed. Meanwhile, we see Tommy sitting back watching TV with Keisha chilling. He get a knock at the door. He goes to take a look-see and tells Keisha to go hide. She gets up, dragging much wagon. She got that big old juicy caboose. She moving out. So she goes to hide. Tommy tucks the 4/5, and then he answers the door. And of course, it's Ball Sacks. Sacks Fifth come in talking crazy, talking about, Tommy said, what you doing here? Sacks like, did you know that you should come talk to me about Ghost and Tasha? And he like, oh yeah, is that right? He like, yeah, well, he had something to do with your father getting killed. And Tommy said, that's a lie. And then Sacks said, well, does it matter to you who he was snitching on? Because I got proof to show you that he wasn't snitching on you. And Tommy said he was a snitch, so he deserved what he got. And so then Sacks say, oh, okay. And so he pulls out the tape. And so he starts playing the tape, and Tommy is listening to the tape. He getting pissed, and Sax playing the tape, and he's listening, and he's like, and he said, see, I told you, Teresi, your dad, he loved you. He wasn't going to snitch on you. It was Ghost and Tasha, and then they took him out. And so then Tommy, he's pissed. He's listening to what he got to say, and then he gets in his face and he says, if it's somebody that's looking for you or somewhere you need to go, I suggest you go. And Sax say, all right, I'm going to get up, get the hell out of here. And so Tommy closed the door, and he's all into the tape, listening to the tape, and he's sitting down, he's breaking up, about to cry, and Keisha say, it was you did it, didn't you? And then she said, how could you didn't have no choice. And he said, you understand? And she said, yeah, he was a snitch. How could you not believe him? Yeah, he said he wasn't snitching on you, but you didn't have a choice. What about Ghost and Tasha? Do they even deserve your loyalty? And she said, he knew. He didn't even tell me when he saw me in the morning. He could have said something. She said, so, I mean, what are you going to do? And so, she done geeked him up just like Holly. And Tommy, he on cloud 1,000. He say, I gotta go. And then he sits the tape recorder down, and she says, Tommy, I'll be here when you get back. And then Tommy, he looks, and he like really loves that. Like he feel like he got somebody on his side. So when he closes the door, he takes that chain off, and then he slides off the ring, remembering Holly, because now she done got bumped off. She done got replaced. Now he got Keisha. She done booty bumped Holly up off the chain, and now Tommy, he in love. Meanwhile, we see Angie. She's opening the door, and Tasha's in. She's like, Tasha, I'm already drinking white, but I can open the bottle of red. And so she walks away, and Tasha unlocks the door. And so Angie is like, that was a good plan to convince Silver to leave town instead of perjure himself. And Tasha like, that ain't my plan. I didn't do that. You and Ghost did that. How did he know Silver was back in town? She said, I didn't talk to Ghost since this morning, Tasha. I didn't do it. And then we hear Tommy saying, oh yeah, just like you didn't tell Ghost about Teresi snitching. She like, yeah, I told him that to protect you, to tell you. I don't know what he did. And then Tasha like, yeah, well, we don't know. But I think it's time for you to go. And then we see Tommy putting the silence on the gun, and then Angie like, oh, no, wait, how did you know? And Tasha like, yeah, I've been waiting for this bitch. And then Tommy got the gun barrel pointed at her, and she like, how did you know that he was snitching? Did they show you pictures? If they show you pictures, it'll trace back to me. It was on Sax's desk. And then they have no reason to believe Ghost took those pictures there. It'll trace back to me, trace back to you. Tasha like, you know what? Hold up. Wait, Tommy. I can't believe I'm saying this, but she right. And so Tasha, she save Angie for the meantime. She like, oh, and this ain't over with. And Angie, she like blown away that Tasha done switched up on her, and she see Tasha really is a cold-blooded killer. And she like, Tasha, I didn't tell Jamie to kill Silver. She say, well, if he broke rank, would it surprise you? She like, no. Meanwhile, we see Tommy, and he's going to meet up with Vincent. And so Vincent like, let me pour you the biggest shot of your life. And Tommy said, not right now. Who gave you those pictures? How did you get those pictures? And Vincent like, does it matter? Why you want to know? And Tommy said, what do you mean why I want to know? I killed my dad for you, for your family. Who gave you those pictures? I want to know. And so Vincent, he like, black guy, your friend in the suit, he gave me the pictures. And Tommy like, for you to kill him. He said, no. He gave me the pictures for you to kill him. And then Tommy's heart sank. And they said, look, let me give you those pictures. It's a hard life we live because we're monsters. But at least now it's over. Tommy said, almost. I just got one more thing left to do. And then we see Angie, and she's sitting in her apartment talking to her lawyer. And then he said, well, Angie, I got some bad news. Big Red, tell her that Ghost is case ain't over with. She like, oh no, I thought it was over. I thought we won. And he said, no, it seems that they got a witness, Maria Suarez, and she's willing to testify. And so Angie, she like, what? And what happened? Did she? And he said she boyfriend was killed in the basement of Truth. And she like, did she escape? Like, no, he let her go. And you right about Terry Silver, he missing. And she's like, oh no. Now we see Proctor coming up in Ghost's elevator, and then he's telling Ghost, see, I told you. See, they said they got a witness to testify, and it's a she. And Ghost is like, man, what? And he like, yeah, I told you. We already know. Angie is the last one. Tasha wouldn't do it because of the kids that only leave one person, one woman. And so Ghost is sitting there thinking he don't want to believe it though. But the next scene we see he didn't arrange the meeting with Angie at their old high school locker room. And he like, remember when we was here and we was called kissing or whatever? And she like, yeah, why did we meet here? Jamie, and like, Proctor told me there's a witness gonna testify, a she. Do you know who that is? Is that you? And she like, you still don't believe me after all that we did? And he said, is it you, Angie? And she like, Jamie, no, it's not me. And he said, well then, who is it? Do you know who it is? And so Angie, she was quiet, and she ain't say nothing. She said, what happened to Terry Silver? How can we still be together? Are we still in the dream? And so Ghost, he all quiet, and she said, how can we still be together if we can't trust each other? And then he banged on the locker in frustration. Damn it, Angie, who is it? Who's the one snitching? And so she didn't even say nothing. She like, did you kill Terry Silver? And she yelled back at him. And so she said, see, I think maybe after this is all over, we can't be together. I thought maybe we can make it happen, but we can't do it. I'm sorry, Jamie. And so she was about to leave, and she was standing at the door, and then her alarm went off on her phone saying time's up, which was symbolic. And so Ghost, he's standing there, and he's thinking about losing her, and he like, I didn't kill him, Angie. And so he walk over there, and she's standing there, and she want to believe it, and she looking, he like, I didn't kill Terry Silver. And so she comes over there to him after he said that, and so he's looking all puppy dog face innocent, and they start to kiss. And so while they kissing, what's in the back of his mind is what happened to Terry Silver. And we see he all happy after he done got his little wee wet with Tasha. He going to his car thinking that everything all good, and then Ghost come from behind and put him in the big boss man WWE chokehold, and next thing you know, he was out. And so he's kissing Angie, and then next thing you know, little did they know, upstairs in the hallway, we see a shadowy figure creeping. It looks like Tommy. And so he got a perfect view of the back of the head or the back of Ghost's neck. And so while Angie is kissing him, she opened her eyes to gaze into his eyes, and she sees at the top of the stairs that it's Tommy. She moves his head, probably trying to make sure, get a better view, and right when she did, she caught one right square mass of her chest, and so she's bleeding, and she's falling on the floor, and she's like, Jamie, Jamie, and Ghost, he looks up and to see who shot her, and he sees it was Tommy, smirking like, yeah, welcome to my world. And so Ghost, he's pissed. He starts to get ready to scream and lets out a bloody roar like the Lion King. And so she's bleeding. She like, Jamie, Jamie. And he starts holding her, Angie, Angie. And next thing you know, it cuts off. And you see Ghost, he was pissed. And the thing is, some people I know are saying that Angie didn't die, or maybe she'll live, and of course this is not real, so anything can happen. But the way she was shot, she wasn't wearing a bulletproof vest, because you don't start bleeding the way she was immediately if you had a vest. And then some people say, well, they know other people shot or whatever the case, and of course it's always an extreme case, people shot in the head or whatever the case. But with her chances and where they are, and then he'd have to call an ambulance and they have to come do all her chances of survival are very slim to none. Even if she survives, she may still die from her injuries. Nevertheless, it was sad to see Angie get popped and get ready to go, and is gearing up for next season, Ghost versus Tommy. And neither one of these guys are the same. Tommy, he's pissed because he feels like Ghost should have came to him about Teresi, and Ghost manipulated him to kill Teresi. He feels like maybe he could have had Teresi killed by Vincent. Why did he want him to do it? And so they got a problem with that. But Ghost, in his mind, is thinking, I've tried to talk to Tommy many times about stuff, and he never listens. So he didn't want to come about Teresi again because that was a sensitive subject with Tommy. So it's all crazy. It's sad that Angie got killed. Bittersweet. I know a lot of people. She did piss off a lot of people being in love with her Jamie, but I don't know if she deserved to die. Was that worth the death penalty? And she helped all of these people out for free. She wasn't getting any proceeds from the drug game. She was still living in her one-bedroom apartment that everybody knew the address and everybody knew how to get into. So I don't see, even when she got a promotion, she didn't buy no new clothes. She still was rocking them Pilgrim shirts and, so I don't see how they figured she was the consigliere. But anyway, we'll see what happened and what she discussed with Big Red. If she does die, is Big Red gonna spill the beans? We'll see. And Maria Suarez, what the hell? Why she just wants to die, basically. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I have to make videos about all these subjects. In the end, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching and enjoying all my videos, and I'll see you next week. Peace.